Hi everybody, welcome to On the Spectrum Kitchen. Today, in honor of the Super Bowl, I'm going to be making a 2026 Super Bowl cupcake. It's going to be a Mexican hot chocolate cupcake, dipped in chocolate ganache, along with some crushed pretzels and potato chips, topped with cherry whipped cream, and garnished with a little bit of a football decoration. Alrighty, let's get baking. Alright, now full disclosure before we start, I'm doubling the recipe because I'm going to a family member's house to watch the Super Bowl, so I'll just explain the regular recipe ingredients. So first things first, preheat your oven to 350. Then we're gonna add 3/4 cup of flour, a cup of sugar, one packet or quarter cup of hot cocoa packets. Hot cocoa mix. I cannot talk today. Boy. Let's see. Next, half a cup of cocoa powder, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. Baking powder. 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. My bad. Half a teaspoon of baking soda. Yikes. Half a teaspoon of salt. One teaspoon of cinnamon. You can either do 1 teaspoon of chili powder or a quarter teaspoon of cayenne. I'm using a quarter teaspoon of cayenne. And this is totally optional. I'm not doing it, but you can add half a teaspoon of instant coffee. I'm not going to do that today, but if you wanted to, that's fine. Now we're going to mix until combined. Alrighty, now we're going to set that aside and on to the dry ingredients. Sorry, I can't get my words right. So we're going to add quarter cup of butter. I'm using margarine today since I'm out of butter. 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. Like I said, I'm doubling this because I'm going to a relative's place tonight. So, man, I cannot get my words straight. 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. Half a cup of brown sugar. I'm using light, but you can use whatever you want. We're going to be next adding 2 large eggs. One's on my hands super quick. Now we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Can't believe the Super Bowl's already here. Where does the time go? This year it's the Seahawks versus the Patriots. And I think I'm going to root for the Patriots. Let me know in the comments who you're going to root for. Alrighty. Alright. Then we're going to add 1 cup of buttermilk. And last but not least, we're going to add half a cup of hot water. Full disclosure, I'm not really a big sports girl, but it's always exciting. But if I had to pick a sport, I'd say my favorite sport would have to be bowling. Let me know in the comments what your favorite sport is. Alright, I'm going to lock this, and we're going to mix it until it's combined. Alright, next we're going to add the dry mix into the wet. Now we're going to mix it all together until fully combined. Scrape down the sides if needed. Alrighty. The batter will be wet, but that's okay. We're just going to scoop these up and bake them for a good 15 to 20 minutes or until a toothpick or whatever tester you use comes out clean. Okay, so off camera by mistake, I whipped up the chocolate ganache. And I took two little bags of potato chips and some pretzels, crushed them up. And we're going to take the cupcakes and dip them. Just carefully dip like so. You might want to let the ganache cool for a minute before you do this. I should have done that, but what are you going to do? Then you dip it in here. Now we're going to do this for a few minutes. And when that's done, we will get to the whipped cream. Okay. Coated what I could. I ran out of ganache. But this is just some that are coated. Now, on to the whipped cream. Alright, now finally on to the last step, puree whipped cream. So typically you'd add 1 cup of heavy cream, full disclosure, I'm not sure how many cupcakes I made, so. A tablespoon of cherry juice or puree. I'm using the maraschino juice. Yeah, I thought it wasn't recording for a second. 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar. And splash of vanilla. Well, 1 teaspoon to be specific. But I'm just going to do a splash. Alright, and we're going to whip it until stiff peaks appear. By the way, if it's not at the color you wanted, then a few drops of food coloring. I'm not going to do that, but that's up to you. Okay, now it's time to pipe. I'll be using a flat tip for this one. Oh. Alright, don't those look pretty? Last but not least, the football decorations. I ordered these candy Bolts online on Amazon, and he had these football ones that also came with shapes of a helmet and a jersey. Right. And there you have it, 2026 Super Bowl cupcakes. Thank you. Oh, thank you for watching On the Spectrum Kitchen. If you like what you saw, like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. Please follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'll put the recipe in the description below, so if you want to make it yourself, you can. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.